So here we have one of Greg Stump's last ski movies, the story of Ptex, lies, and duct tape.
I've seen things people wouldn't believe. All those moments will be lost in time.
After Groove Requiem, this is yet another style of ski movie, focusing mainly on normal people, the ski bums, which I think is really refreshing. Taking its title from the 1998 Steven Soderbergh film Sex, Lies and Videotape. If you haven't watched Ptex, Lies and Duct Tape, then you can purchase a online digital download from Mr. Stump's online store, blizzardsnowstore.com. It's a great way to say thank you to Greg for making some of the best ski films of the 80s and 90s. And of course, if you would like to support my channel, apart from clicking the subscribe button, you can purchase a t-shirt rather like this. A nice play on what the French would call a preservative logo for her skiing pleasure. And if you use the code STUMPY, you will get an extra 10% off. Now, for this movie, we have our duct tape monitor to help us keep track of the high points. So, the opening title, Follow Your Bliss, a very good opening title. I know Greg would disagree, but I find Mr. Stump's silky smooth introduction, and we see the extended course of normies as he reminisces about skiing when school was closed due to too much snow. And we are greeted by epic powder snow in Blackcomb. And then we get to meet the wonderful Mike, a 79-year-old ski bum who is just has some great conversation. We also see normals skiing powder, which isn't always perfect, but it's still absolutely brilliant. We have a bunch of bloopers taking a page out of Warren Miller's book, and something that will be copied in many ski movies in the future. But again, who doesn't like crashes? We then head to Blackcomb for some World Cup moguls. And of course, you know me, always love a good bit of mogul action. Now, I know the music section is usually at the end of these reviews, but there is a nice little insert of a little classical music, in this case Khatchurian's Sabre Dance, a great way of showing the frenetic nature of work compared to the calmness of skiing powder. And then we head off to Europe to La Grave, under the ruse of anonymity, calling it Valley X. We see a very different ski area with its iconic coloured little telecabines. Back in the 90s, it was much more of an unknown hardcore destination. We also get a nice mix of grainy black and white footage for all the non-ski sections, a very 1990s bloggy style with Jason Moore and Dean Cummings. We also see how much equipment is really needed to ski and film in the Alps. A big difference from a GoPro and an overnight bag. Now, I really love the drinking Genepi with the lifties. Now, Genepi is a Savoyard specialty. The Genepi flowers steeped in alcohol. I've made it a couple of times if you want to see how to do it. It's a classic digestif in the French Alps after eating too much tartiflette or fondue. Store-bought Genepi can be a little sweet, which is why everyone makes their own. You can buy the dried flowers online if you want to make your own. Just make sure you dilute the Everclear to 40% before drinking. And of course, we get a shout out to a little authentic French transport in the case of a classic Renault 4 van. Of course, then we get to see Dean Cummings' section in Le Grave, which is again amazing. Heading back to America, we arrive in Utah, where of course we get a brief history lesson about the Ute Indians and how they were driven out to the deserts. Go white people. We then see the Whistler Technical Championships, where we get to see some older skiers like legends Wayne Wong and Steve Marr, again skiing moguls. What a treat. Followed by the World Cup downhill from the Dave Murray course in Whistler. Then, of course, as is normal, we take a little detour to the oceans, to some surfing in Tavarua, Fiji. Now, as I've said before with clips from Laird Hamilton, I am not a surfer. However, you do not need to be blown away by this amazing reef break at this island in Fiji. Truly breathtaking footage. We then have a nice interview with regular Tom Youngst, followed by a visit to Island Lake Lodge with the late great Craig Kelly. A little bit of self-promotion, as Island Lake Lodge cat skiing was part owned by Craig Kelly. But putting those aside, there was some great free riding on film, both from the skiers and the snowboarders. And of course, all this footage is interspersed with asking the pros how they survived on the mountain in their youth. Again, a great little touch. And finally, we have Craig Kelly outrunning a little avalanche to finish the film. And as always, as the credits roll, we see a bit of creativity and maybe probably a few Easter eggs, which have become a signature of Mr. Stump. What do we have about the music? Well, as is normal, we start off with some ZTT titles. And of course, first one would be Seal from his album Seal, which of course has some great tracks. Another ZTT regular would be 808 State from their album Gorgeous. A little Mond Green, which is of course where you mishear a music lyric on their track, which is titled 10 times 10. At the end of the song, it repeats the word 10 times 10 many times. And of course, I hear it as, this being a ski movie, stem, turn, stem, turn, stem, turn, stem, turn. Anyway, we then have some tracks from the Beastie Boys from their album Ill Communication. Some tracks from Delight from their album Dewdrops in the Garden. A very interesting album from Billy Idol titled Cyberpunk, very different from his early work, well worth a listen. To finish off, we have some tracks from the brand new Heavies on their album Brother Sister. So there you have it. At over 9 minutes, quite a long ski movie, but it's a different style and it's really quite refreshing. Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Ace. Remember, order the digital download, buy the t-shirt, subscribe, like, leave a comment. And so until my next Greg Stump film review, ciao.